Hello guys and welcome back to the Science Hub. My name is Shashank and in the today's video we will see about the human health and disease. So let's begin. So what we will see in this video, we will see about what is health, what is disease, what is immunity and what is allergy. So what is health? Health can be defined as a state of body and mind which allows a person to do functionally well, physically, mentally and socially also. मतलब कि बॉडी सही तरीके से काम करना, सही तरीके से सोचना, अपना जो रेगुलर वर्क है, रूटीन है, वो सही तरीके से हो, उसे हेल्थ कहते हैं. या फिर उसे गुड हेल्थ भी कह सकते हैं. वॉट आर द फैक्टर्स दैट अफेक्ट ह्यूमन हेल्थ? मतलब ऐसी कौन सी चीज़ें हैं जो ह्यूमन हेल्थ को ख़राब करती हैं या फिर उस पर असर होता है. सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल इट इज़ डाइटरी. हमारा डाइट जो हमेशा प्रॉपर मेंटेन होना चाहिए और रेगुलर होना चाहिए, अच्छा होना चाहिए, जिससे बॉडी हेल्थ वाइज सबसे अच्छी हो और कोई बीमारी ना हो. देन लाइफस्टाइल ऑल्सो मैटर्स. फिर सोशल एनवायरनमेंट. Then what kind of work we do. Then comes the state of mind, genetic information, physical environment and economic conditions also. So these are some of the factors which affect the human health. Then comes the diseases. What is disease? A state when the functioning of one or more organs of the body is affected, resulting in altered physiological state with signs and symptoms telling us that there is something wrong with our health, then it is called as disease. मतलब कि हमारी शरीर के साथ कोई भी रॉन्ग चीज़ होना, जैसे कि कोई ऑर्गन ठीक से नहीं काम कर रहा है या तो फिर कोई प्रॉब्लम आ रही है, तो उस चीज़ को हम डिजीज़ बोल सकते हैं. डिजीज़ आर ऑफ टू टाइप्स. डिजीज़ दो टाइप के होते हैं, जैसे कि एक होता है इन्फेक्शियस और दूसरा होता है नॉन इन्फेक्शियस. नॉन इन्फेक्शियस आर ट्रांसमिटेड फ्रॉम वन पर्सन टू अनदर पर्सन एंड इट इज़ इजीली ट्रांसमिटेड, whereas non-infectious cannot be transmitted from one person to another. In infectious, it is caused by pathogens and its examples are like common cold and AIDS. And in non-infectious, examples are cancer and diabetes. Then comes the pathogens. What are pathogens? Organisms that cause diseases in a host are called pathogens. मतलब वैसे organisms जो होस्ट या फिर मतलब बॉडी में डिजीज़ कॉज करते हैं, उसे पैथोजेंस कहते हैं. दे आर मोस्टली माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिजम्स लाइक बैक्टीरिया, फंगाई, वायरसेस एंड मैनी मोर. नाउ वी विल सी अबाउट द डिजीज़ कॉज्ड बाय बैक्टीरिया. सो diseases caused by bacteria are like typhoid fever and pneumonia. Typhoid is caused because of bacteria known as Salmonella typhi, and here the mode of transmission of this bacteria is mostly the contaminated food and water. Here the symptoms are like sustained high fever, stomach pain, weakness, constipation and a loss of appetite. Then the pneumonia. In pneumonia, the bacteria which causes this disease is Streptococcus pneumoniae and Haemophilus influenzae. Here the mode of transmission of this bacteria is sharing of glasses and utensils, inhaling droplet nuclei, and there are many more other mode of transmissions too. Here the symptoms are alveoli of lungs gets infected, leading to respiratory problems, fever, chills, cough and headache. Here the lips Lips and nails become grey in severe cases. Now we will see about the diseases caused by virus. First of all, the common cold. Common cold is caused because of virus known as rhinovirus. Here the mode of transmission is air, through droplet nuclei and through contaminated objects. Here the symptoms are infections of nose and respiratory tract, then nasal congestion and discharge, hoarseness, cough, headache and tiredness. Then comes the AIDS. The virus which causes this disease is HIV virus, that is human immunodeficiency virus. Here the mode of transmission is sexual relation with infectious person. Here the symptoms are rapid weight loss, recurring fever or profuse night sweats, diarrhea last for more than a week, then pneumonia, then soreness of the mouth, anus or genitals, and many more. Then we have diseases caused by protozoa. First of all, disease is malaria. Malaria is caused by protozoa known as Plasmodium. Here the mode of transmission is by vector, that is from female Anopheles mosquito, and its symptoms are high fever and chills at fixed time interval due to release of hemozoin after the rupture of infected RBCs. Then comes the disease known as amoebiasis, that is amoebic dysentery. Here the name of protozoa which causes this disease is known as Entamoeba histolytica. Here the mode of transmission is houseflies acts as mechanical carriers, serve to transmit the parasite from feces of infected person to the food. Here the fecal-oral transmission, we can say. Here the symptoms are constipation, abdominal pain and cramps, stools with excess mucus and blood clots. Then diseases caused by worms. Here the first disease is Ascariasis. Here the pathogen known as Ascaris is the main reason for this disease. Here the mode of transmission is fecal-oral transmission, and the symptoms are fever, anemia, muscular pain, internal bleeding and blockage of intestinal passage. Then comes elephantiasis. Here the pathogen is known as Wucheria bancrofti, and the mode of transmission is bite of female mosquito vectors. Here the symptoms are chronic inflammation of lymphatic vessels of lower limbs and genital organs causing gross deformities. Sorry for the mispronunciation. Then diseases caused by fungi. Here the first disease is ringworm, and the main reasons for it are Microsporum, Trichophyton and Epidermophyton. Here the mode of transmission is direct contact through soil, contaminated clothes and combs. Here the symptoms are dry, scaly lesions on skin, nails and scalp accompanied by intense itching, and symptoms are worsened with increased heat and moisture. Immunity. The ability of the host to fight and protect against disease causing organisms conferred by the immune system is called immunity. Now, there are two types of immunities. One, that is innate immunity, and second, that is acquired immunity. Let's take a look at the innate immunity. Innate immunity is a non-specific type of immunity in an individual that is present at the time of birth. It works by preventing the entry of pathogens through various barriers. There are various types of barriers by which the body prevents the entry of foreign agents into our body. Innate immunity consists of 4 types of barriers. These 4 types of barriers are physical barriers, physiological barriers, cellular barriers, and cytokine barriers. First, physical barrier. Physical barriers include skin, mucus coating of the epithelium lining the respiratory, gastrointestinal, and urogenital tracts. Then physiological barriers are like acid in the stomach, saliva in the mouth, and the tears from the eyes. Then cellular barriers include certain types of leukocytes, that is WBCs of our body, can phagocytose and destroy microbes. Then cytokine barrier. Cells infected with a virus secrete certain special proteins called as interferons, which protects other non-infected cells from further viral infections. Then comes the acquired immunity. This type of immunity is pathogen specific and is characterized by a memory. When the pathogen is encountered for the first time, a low intensity primary response is produced. Subsequent encounters with the same pathogen produces a high intensity response with the help of memory cells, and this is called secondary or anamnestic response. Sorry for the wrong pronunciation. Primary and secondary response are carried out with the help of 2 special types of lymphocytes, B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes. The B lymphocytes produce special proteins called antibodies, whereas the T lymphocytes help B lymphocytes to produce antibodies. Humoral immune response. It is a kind of immune response that involves production of antibodies, as these antibodies are present in the blood. Then cell-mediated immunity response. It is an immune response that does not involve antibodies, but rather involves the activation of phagocytes, antigen-specific cytotoxic T lymphocytes, and the release of various cytokines in response to an antigen. The body is able to differentiate self and non-self, and the cell-mediated immune response is responsible for the graft rejection. Now, antibodies. It is also known as immunoglobulins. Antibodies are capable of binding specifically to antigens and are designated with an Ig prefix. The 5 major class of antibodies are IgG, IgA, IgM, IgE, and IgD. Let's talk about each. First of all, IgG. It is the most abundant in serum and present in great quantity. Then IgA. It can be a monomer, dimer, or a trimer. Then IgM. It is a membrane-bound monomer. And at last, IgE and IgD. Both are monomer. Immunoglobulins are composed of 4 polypeptide chains, which include 2 heavy chains and 2 light chains. Polypeptide chains are linked by sulfide bonds into a Y-shaped complex. Here you can see 2 heavy chains and 2 light chains and a proper diagram of an antibody. Then active and passive immunity. Let's see the difference between them. What is active immunity? When a host is exposed to antigens, which may be in form of living or dead microbes or other proteins, antibodies are produced in the host body. Whereas in passive immunity, ready-made antibodies are directly given to protect the body against the foreign agents. In active immunity, effective are of it is effective after a long period, where in passive this type of immunity is immediately after the antibodies are given. In active immunity, memory cells are produced which can produce stronger response the next time body encounters the same antigen. Whereas in passive immunity, the memory cells are not produced and there is no long-term protection provided to the body. In active immunity, here the examples are vaccines like BCG and MMR, and in passive immunity there are many examples like anti-tetanus injections for snake bite, colostrum, then colostrum, that is yellowish fluid produced by the mother in the initial days of lactation, contains abundant IgA antibodies to protect the infant against infections. Then vaccination and immunization. Vaccination. It is the introduction of antigenic proteins of pathogens or part or whole of inactivated or weakened pathogens into the host body so as to trigger the host immune system to produce antibodies against the antigen. Vaccination works on the principle of memory. The antibodies produced in response to the vaccine will then help the body fight against the actual infections. During the actual infection, these antibodies will be produced in large amounts by the activation of memory B and T cells of the immune system, which will recognize the antigen and form the suitable antibodies faster. Here you can see vaccination and immunization. Then, in some cases, if a person has been severely infected or needs antibodies in his body faster to fight the infection, ready-made antibodies may be introduced into his body, and this is called as passive immunization. This method is employed when time is insufficient to activate the host immune system so as to produce the required antibodies. Newer techniques like recombinant DNA technology allows the production of antigenic polypeptides in bacteria and yeast. This allows for large-scale manufacture of vaccine against specific antigenic polypeptides of various pathogens. As the cellular material of the pathogen is not present in the vaccine, the side effect of the vaccine may also be lesser in these cases. Allergies. The aggravated response of the immune system to certain antigens present in the environment is called allergy. The substances to which such an immune response is produced are called allergens. The antibodies produced by these are of IgE type. Common examples of allergens are mites in dust, pollens, animal danders, and many more. Symptoms of allergic reactions includes sneezing, watery eyes, running nose, and difficulty in breathing. Then allergy is due to the release of chemicals like histamine, serotonin from the mast cells. Drugs like antihistamines, adrenalines, and steroids act quickly to reduce the symptoms of allergy. Modern day lifestyle has led to lower immunity and increased susceptibility to the allergies. Here you can see the reaction of allergy, like we can see running nose and all those things. Here you can see reactions on the skin too. Then autoimmunity. The human immune system can differentiate antigen which are foreign to the body from the antigen which are part of the body. This is called autoimmunity. In some cases, the body attacks its own cells due to genetic and other unknown reasons. This causes damage to the body and is called autoimmune disease. For this, the example is rheumatoid arthritis. Immune system in the body. It consists of lymphoid organs, tissues, cells, and antibodies. The immune system functions as follows. It differentiates between self and non-self. It protects the body against non-self or foreign antigens. It acts on the basis of memory and protects the body against antigens to which it has been previously exposed. It is involved in allergic reactions and it is important in autoimmune diseases too. It is important in organ transplant and graft rejection. Lymphoid organs. These are the organs where origin and maturation and proliferation of lymphocytes occur. Lymphoid organs defend the body against foreign antigens or spread of tumors. These organs exist as primary, secondary, and tertiary. And this is based on the stage of lymphocyte development and maturation of organ is involved in. Lymphoid organs contains connective tissues with different types of leukocytes or white blood cells. Of these, lymphocytes are usually present in the highest percentage regardless of the type of lymphoid organs. There are two types of lymphoid organs which includes the primary lymphoid organs and the secondary lymphoid organs. The primary lymphoid organs include bone marrow and thymus. Here, immature lymphocytes differentiates into antigens and sensitive lymphocytes. In secondary lymphoid organs, it includes spleen, lymph nodes, tonsils, Peyer's patches of small intestine, and the appendix. It provides the site for interaction of lymphocytes with the antigen, which then proliferates to become effector cells. Thank you so much for watching our video. I hope you liked it. And for the more content, please visit our website, the www.thescienhub.in, and make sure to like the video and subscribe to our channel too. Thank you so much.